how do I get money out of an ATM? Put your card in, put your information in, select how much you want back. I've never done that.
It's because he never spends money. So, and if I think about it that way, that would make sense. I would say me and Micah are quite different. He was, giving me a hard time about literally everything that I hadn't done to this point. ATMs.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Thursday, June 30th. Did you know that this past week on Welcome to Plathville, Micah Plath celebrated his 21st birthday? Now, Micah just turned 21 in March of 2022. It is June 30th, meaning TLC turned over and filmed very, very quickly filmed and edited and produced these newest episodes in a matter of months, which is making me wonder, why are they so far behind with Sister Wives? Why are they 2 years behind when it comes to filming Sister Wives? But when they film Welcome to Plathville, it's happening in real time, basically. I mean, okay, so it was 4 months before. But still, you guys, at least we're more current. Okay, but that's not even the tea. Because in the episode, Micah flew home, or sort of. He flew back to Tampa to spend the 21st birthday with his siblings, Ethan and Mariah, and his Olivia, and then Olivia's brother Nathan, Meigs, who is a new addition to the series. So in the episode, we saw them drinking a lot, which totally fine if you're of age, and they were doing shots every time someone new came to the party. And then they went to a club where Ethan looked like a deer in headlights and uncomfortable and not sure what to do. And that was the extent of it. Micah was having a blast. Micah is totally different from when we first met him in the very first season. So I actually went back and watched the first episode, and I was like, oh my gosh, Micah of season 4 versus Micah of season 1 is totally different. Season 1, Micah said he never wanted to live in a big city. Season 4, he lives in LA. Season 1 said he'd always wanted to be outside and rural, and he had cows and he loved working with cows and being on a farm. Season 4, he literally lives in Los Angeles and he's a model. It's like night and day. Season 1, he barely interacted with girls, didn't have very much interaction with them. Season 4, he's like a ladies' man, and he's not afraid to share it. And he talks about openly because he doesn't know how to lie. He doesn't believe in lying. It's kind of funny. So Micah and Ethan are sort of polar opposites in that Micah has really embraced the wildlife and is just wanting to soak up and take in everything. And Ethan settled down with Olivia, and they got married when they were just 20 years old, or almost maybe 21, and just turning 21 or 20. I don't even know. They were young. And here we are today, they're 23, and they admit that they never even went to the bar on their 21st birthday. So they were going to make Micah's birthday, they were going to do it up. Well, it was the doing it up part that is kind of interesting, because I don't know if they left this out of the episode, but so Micah turned 21 on March 10th of 2022. On March 11th of 2022 at 1:23 in the morning. So the same night they were partying for Micah's birthday, Nathan Meigs was arrested, which is Olivia's brother, for a DUI. So I actually found this by accident as I was looking for just Welcome to Plathville stuff on him, and I found his mugshot, and I was like, wait, what happened here? So according to the arrest record, it was a misdemeanor driving under the influence. He is 19 years old. So he is also underage. His birth date is 3/20 of 2003. So that would make him 19. He was actually 18 at the time of this arrest, just shy of his 19th birthday. So it says the defendant was observed unconscious in the driver's seat of his vehicle while the vehicle was turned on at the gas pumps of a gas station. The defendant had vomited on himself. The odor of the alcoholic beverages was emanating from his mouth. He was slurring his words, and he presented in a noticeable sway. I asked the defendant if I could check his eyes, and he agreed. The defendant had a lack of smooth pursuit and distinct sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation. So he was having a hard time following the light. And the defendant then agreed to perform a sobriety exercise and exhibited clues of impairment. They did a breathalyzer, and he blew a .8788. And he was positively identified by his Virginia driver's license. So at 1:23 in the morning, Nathan Meigs is at a gas station, and this is the same night that they have a party where you see them taking shots on the show, and he's arrested. But TLC didn't film that. Instead, they filmed them going to the club and looking at ladies. And Nathan, by the way, wasn't even in that part of the episode. So I don't know what happened with Nathan after they left. And it's kind of shocking to me because a .87 is just over the legal limit. He is underage, though, so I want to note that in the state of Florida, I believe .02 is the legal limit for someone that's under 21. So he's basically 4 times the legal limit in the state of Florida for someone who's under the age of 21. He has pleaded not guilty and that he was arrested that night, and then Ethan Plath actually bonded him out or posted bail for him for $500. He has a trial, or his next hearing is set for July. So for right now, he's in the process of going through this, and it's a misdemeanor. So obviously it sounds like nobody was hurt, which is a good thing. He's young, he's 18, and he made a mistake, obviously, and it'll be expensive for him. He could end up losing his license. He can get fines. He might have to do some programs. It's not the end of the world. The good news is that nobody was hurt, and that's what should matter. And hopefully just learns a very expensive lesson. His insurance is about to get a lot more expensive. He might not even be able to find car insurance. He could lose his license. It's a tough situation overall. But what I think here is interesting is that that's a big story, like in the scope of the show, right? You've got Nathan living at your house, and that's this party that's happening where everyone's taking shot. And by the way, Mariah is saying that she's drinking juice and that she's not drinking because she's underage. Clearly, Nathan was drinking that night, and he was underage. I don't know if the film crew just didn't want to show his arrest. They didn't want to show him drinking. I don't know. But he obviously was drinking the night of Mr. Micah's birthday party and got arrested. Now, I will say this is that when they drove to the club, they seemed to take Ubers. So they didn't drive themselves. So like Olivia and Mariah went in a car and then with a friend, and then the boys went in a different car, and Ethan didn't even know how to use the ATM. So they were responsible in that they were drinking and they didn't drive. So the biggest lesson here is don't drive if you have been drinking. And he has, again, pleaded not guilty. It's amazing to me that he only blew a .87 and was in that state of mind. He must have a very low tolerance, or he must be a very inexperienced consumer, because that's pretty inebriated to be puking and only be blowing a .87. It was 1:23 in the morning, so it's hard to say if he had already metabolized some of that and he was already, sick and got rid of some of it. Who knows? So he is, again, pleaded not guilty. But Ethan was the one that bailed him out, which I was like, well, at least when you're arrested, you know that Ethan will come to your rescue, right? So the next thing was Mariah made a post on her Instagram after her parents announced their split yesterday. And I just wanted to share this because I think Mariah has been having a tough time with being on being a public figure. And I think the kids in general it's like been a double-edged sword for them, because obviously their parents sought this fame out. They didn't seek it out as kids. And Mariah has been basically public since she's been 16. So, imagine being 16 years old and you're going through some of the hardest phases of your life. Think of that. Being 16 is not easy. And on top of that, you're famous, right? And everything about your life has been picked apart on the show, and the public seems to think that they get to have an opinion about you. Some of the worst comments I see about Mariah is about how she dresses. And I just think it's so sad that we live in a day where people care about the clothes that she wears and not about the character of her heart. Because I've never seen anything about Mariah that isn't a loving, sweet, kind soul that literally believes the best in people and honestly has a good nature. Like, Mariah honestly is very easy to like on the show. If you want someone to dislike, there's plenty of people to dislike. Mariah, to me, is not one of them. And I think going after her clothing, given where she grew up and how she grew up, is just so weird to me. But this is what she shared on her Instagram. Haven't been on social media much lately, just have a lot of changing in my life right now, and will update y'all, but honestly, I'm just tired of social media. Everyone has an opinion on who you should be and how you should live your life when they really only know a fraction of your story. I'll be 20 soon, but I'm only 19, and I've been on my own since I was 17. And I'm so thankful for all the experiences I've had in this short time, the good and the bad. But being kind of in the spotlight since I was 16 has definitely had somewhat of an impact on who I am. Maybe for the better, but I just really want to be careful that I don't turn into a girl who lives her life trying to please everyone. You will never be enough for some people. You got to be enough for you. You can't change for anyone else. You will lose who you are. It's not always easy living your life with the world watching. We are learning and making life-changing decisions, falling down and getting back up. And I just want to remind all of you that my family needs grace through this very difficult chapter. Grace is not to have to be perfect humans in order to deserve the best in life. Everyone needs that. So Mariah has come to a place with her mother that she was telling People magazine that this is the best their relationship has been in years, and that it's just nice to finally have a relationship with her where it's not so judgmental and she feels like she is being seen and heard. And I think Kim has changed. I mean, next week we're going to see her going out for cocktails with her son, Micah. And one of the big things that I noticed in the very first episode of the very first season, and I can't believe I forgot all of this, was Kim talking about how her mom was an alcoholic. And then Kim actually had an arrest related to drinking. I don't remember what it was, when she was young and in college. I mean, a lot of people have drinking related arrests. I mean, hell, I had one when I was 24. So it happens, just like it happens with Nathan. But now she's going to drinking, and Barry talked about how he got into drinking. Part of me just wondered if they both were concerned about their own drinking, that they just took this huge pivot in their lives and got into this cult. And y'all, they were in a really weird church that was down in Georgia with this group of families, and it was like a home church. There's so many blogs connected to it. There's so many different families. They had these church functions together. One of the blogs even has people praying for the death when when the accident happened and Joshua passed away. There's photos from Joshua's funeral. There's photos of Kim at Joshua's funeral. There's photos of Barry at people's weddings. It's really wild to see that at some point after what happened with Joshua, something drastically changed because they were more social. And then I think Kim might have gone into a state of complete and utter depression. I mean, how could you not after you've accidentally run over your child? I mean, she was never charged. It was ruled an accident. I think part of it for the last, it happened in 2008 or 2009. It was probably a lot of grief too that led to some poor parenting decisions. So I kind of agree there with Mariah is that we need to extend some grace. And, I think of it this way. I don't have to like Kim. I don't have to like her judgments. But man, I've been going back watching the first season and I'm seeing Olivia in a totally different light. Like Olivia wanted to live a different way. And then there was a lot of headbutting between her and Kim. But I think that headbutting wasn't just one-sided. It was very two-way street. And I think it definitely played a role in, Ethan's tense relationship with his parents. And Ethan is going to be meeting up with Kim for the first time. And he still says that, in the upcoming episodes, I can't stand his mom. And Micah's like, I want to forgive her. We need to move past all of this. So you've got some kids that are like, I want to move forward. I forgive my mom. And Ethan saying like, no, I don't want to forgive her. So we'll have to see how this handles things. The way that Mariah's handling it is very graceful. And so, just remember when you're talking about these guys online, just remember Mariah's really young. So is Lydia. She's only 18. Just try to remember that they're young. They're trying to figure their lives out, and doing that in the public eye is very hard. And mind you, they're not the ones that chose to do this. It was the parents that put them in this situation. So what are your thoughts about all of this? We're going to be doing a lot more Welcome to Plathville, so hoping to get more of you interested in it and this kind of interesting life of getting out of Fundy world. But the whole world that they were involved in is wild. At some point, we'll dive into it. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.